What's going on, guys? Welcome to entry number 15 to my GSD vlog series. So it's been a couple weeks since I've last updated. So the last couple weeks have gone, pretty well actually. The month of September, I was really trying to kind of maintain my body weight at right around 195, and it looked like that was happening up until about the previous 2 or 3 days, where I've seen this surge come out of nowhere. Like today, the last 2 days I've hit new lows. Like today I hit a 193, and that is really low. So it's pretty assertive. And what's kind of interesting is that I haven't done cardio in probably a good 12 to 13 days, and my food level has been a little bit more than it was. I've raised the calories maybe 50 to 100 calories on average over the last couple weeks. Um, but still, my weight is dropping. So, in a sense, it's a good thing because obviously I'm not having to do the cardio to make that fat loss happen. But I really don't want the pace to be real assertive right now through the month of September. So I actually today going to go ahead and throw in a decent sized refeed to kind of stop that bleeding a little bit, and then probably tack on another 50 to 100 calories from where I was currently, I should say. So add another 50 to 100 calories from where I'm at now to kind of help, slow down some of that weight loss and try to maintain my body weight through, September. So, in a sense, this month I really wanted to, really improve my lifts, get them moving a bit more, which has happened. I'm definitely progressing in the weight room. And what I really focusing on a lot in the weight room is just making sure that form is the priority. I know I've talked about this in the past quite a bit. I just feel like form is like that life insurance policy, to keep you nice and healthy. So I've really been trying to make sure form is on point before I tend to move loads up, especially with like the RDL, where I just threw that movement in not too long ago. So I really the first couple of weeks it was kind of like just getting myself reacclimated to the movement before jumping into heavier loads. And now that I've gotten pretty acclimated and I feel the form is on lock, now I'm like really confident in my ability to be more assertive with increasing those loads. So as long as that form stays intact as I build those loads up, that's exactly what I want. And I think there's some debates at times whether you should be a little bit looser with form, you're a little more ballistic. That way you can move heavier loads and you get stronger that way. And then other people say, well, that's kind of a recipe to get hurt eventually. And I think it's very individual. And I also think that certain movements, at least for me, anyways, personally speaking, that like movements like, let's say, a cable curl or a press down, I mean, you could probably get a little bit looser and have less risk there, whereas let's say again like an RDL, a deadlift, a squat, some of those more technical movements, then I feel like, yeah, I better make sure my form is on lock. Otherwise, that could spell disaster and put me on the sidelines. So I think for me anyways, my training style is more like, okay, let me make sure my form and technique is on lock, and then once that's unlocked, then kind of move those loads up, as we go along, as long as that form stays nice and tight. And that's been just kind of my style. And I think for some people, they can be a little bit looser and kind of get away with it. But I would just, I just say there's err on the side of caution, just if you want to, have that longevity. So, anyways, a kind of a little bit of a rant and ramble right there. But I think overall, the prep thus far has gone really well. I'm down 11 pounds, about 3.5 months. Slowly chipping away. The physique is starting to look a little bit better. Instead of looking, let's say, like an offensive lineman like I once was when we first started this prep. No offense to offensive linemen, because those guys are pretty damn athletic and strong. But now you could say I'm kind of looking more maybe like a defensive end, maybe. So I'm, slowly starting to chisel away and starting to, see slight improvements to my physique. So it'll be interesting, once I probably get off another 10 to 15 pounds when I'll start making, I'll start looking more like a bodybuilder, I should say. So mentally though, yeah, like confidence, motivation, those type of things. I'm feeling really confident with the approach I've been taking, like really confident that, I'm going to be able to hold on to as much muscle, if not more than I did in 2014. That's a prediction. Of course, I won't know the answer to that fully until the end, but I'm confident that I can do that. But I would say the motivation, it's there, but it's not like it once was when I was younger. Like when I was, let's say when I was younger and my perspective, in my 20s was about, trying to win shows, and, trying to maybe, chase down a pro card. Like that was some pretty nice fuel to have back in my 20s. Like that desire, and that motivation definitely helped me to, do pretty well on stage. But I will say, because of that motivation and that just crazy determination that I had, it kind of skewed my perspective on life priorities. And I think that's probably the biggest difference with me now versus, let's say, when I was in my 20s. And this is things we've talked about on the podcast, is that, back then, the priority was bodybuilding. Like I put that so high up on the priority list that, some of those other life things kind of were on the back burner. So, a lot of energy went into bodybuilding, and that, I think, that drive and that passion, is, that just the extreme amount of motivation that I had. Whereas now, um, I'm motivated, but not like I said, like I was. And I think experience is also playing a huge factor in keeping my motivation levels in check. Like the perspective, too. Like my life perspective has totally changed now that I have a family. My kids come first, my wife comes first, work, friends, all that kind of follows suit. And then bodybuilding is like, you know, last. So, basically family, work, friends, they're first, bodybuilding's kind of last. And also because of the experience that I've done this so many times, I know how to get shredded. I know how to maintain muscle mass. That sense of urgency, that sense of motivation doesn't need to be like it used to be. And, I guess you could say it could be a good and bad thing, because there's some days where, maybe I'm just not feeling too motivated. I don't feel like get out there and train, and my mind can kind of, talk me like, yeah, you don't need to train because you got this, and tomorrow if you get in there and do your workout, you're going to be just fine. It's not like you're going to atrophy in a day, from missing a workout. But I also have been using my experience from 2014, knowing that approach, um, I kind of let that, my life priorities kind of take too much precedence, over my decision making, and, I was probably a little too unselfish at times. So I guess that's kind of, the changes with this prep, is that I've been kind of forcing myself, on those days where I know I can get away with maybe not training or not doing cardio, or whatever. Those days where I know I can get away with it, but I've been saying no. You need to push yourself here and be a little bit selfish. So that's been kind of, what's been going in my mind. This prep is just, you know, I really want to take this prep to another level in regards to, um, my conditioning, like just improving my physique, but really like dialing in my conditioning more so than it has in the past. Just because I know in the back of my mind that, my symmetry, I was blessed with, you know, good symmetry, thanks mom and dad. So I really don't want to see that get wasted in a sense. So I really want to kind of just take my conditioning to another level, to another extreme, and to kind of reach that full potential that I know I still haven't tapped into. And I know if I do that, sure, up on stage, I'm probably be competitive. Whether I win or not, I mean, that's yet to be seen. I mean, obviously, anytime you step on stage, you really don't know who you're going to be stepping on stage to. And even if you do know who's going to be on stage with you, you don't know what they're bringing to the stage. So it really, you have kind of no control of kind of what happens when you're out there on stage in regards to how the judges are going to place you, how they see things, or what your competitors are doing. The only thing you have control of is it's all cliche now, is just getting yourself in the best possible shape you possibly can, and then making sure that your presentation is on lock. And I know I'm capable of doing those things. So when it comes down to it, on show day, and whatever placing I get handed, whether it's first place, it's second, or if it's even last place, I know if I cross my T's and dot my I's, I do everything I'm supposed to do. I've got myself in my best possible shape. I pose to the best of my ability. Then whatever placing I get, then I'm okay with it because there's nothing else I could have done. There's no regret. And this just means that someone else is definitely better than me on that day. So really I think I definitely want to do well on stage. I want to better myself from the last time I competed. I want to see if I can improve the placings. No doubt that's fuel for the fire. That keeps me going. But really, at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I know personally for me and based on my competitive history over the many years I've done this, that at the end of the day, what really matters is that you can say you define your own success. Like, you don't put that power in the hands of the judges. Like, you don't let a panel of judges define what is successful, I should say. Like, for me, I know if I, like I said, I put everything out there, do what I need to do, wherever I place, it doesn't matter, because there's no regret. I fulfilled my potential, and there's nothing else I can ask of myself. And if I do that, to me, that is winning. And I watched my brother compete this past Saturday. Dude came in razor sharp, best he's ever been. I'm not going to really say where his placings were at, but he got a pretty good placing, really good placing actually. And for him, it's the same thing. He knew he put it all out there. There's nothing else he could have done. And the guys he lined up against, he had no control over what they did, how they looked, or anything like that, or what the judges did. He only had control of himself. And like I said, came in absolutely diced, peeled out of his mind. And the beauty of it was that he did this at the age of 50. So right there, that just proves to me that, kind of like in my last Godfather videos, that you know progress doesn't have to stop at 35 or in your 30s. It can keep going for a bit longer. And watching what my brother did, it really just cements in my mind. It gives me that peace of mind and that sense of security that my time is not done yet, and I still have more potential to fulfill. And and when I'm trying to fulfill that potential, I'm going to make damn sure that I'm enjoying myself every single day, because basically, after 31 years of training, I've realized that yes, we want to get bigger, we want to get stronger, we want to get more shredded, but if you're not enjoying it on a day-to-day basis, if you're letting the stress of trying to progress more and more and more, and you're kind of getting an anxiety and insecurities from it, that can really destroy our fun. And to me, what's more important right now for me is to make sure I'm enjoying the process, enjoying the journey, because believe me, that's where the fun is at. And yeah, so that's it. So I'm basically done with this long ramble. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the long rant and ramble, and we'll talk to you guys next week.